troops going block by block, clearing the area of Hamas fighters and destroying the complex series of tunnels which are used by Hamas to move around the city and conduct ambush attacks against Israeli troops. The military says it has destroyed 130 tunnel shafts so far, but they have barely scratched the surface.
Gaza is the biggest terror base ever built by mankind. This whole city is one big terror base, underground, kilometers of tunnels that connect to hospitals and schools.
The Israeli military released
hospitals and schools, so it's a terrorist state used, terrorist state used by Hamas, and it has tunnels connected into hospitals and schools. It's Hamas using the tunnels to get education, elementary school, or go to the hospital. Where they get hurt. They have tunnels. It just seems like it's a premise for something else. It just seems like it's an excuse just in case something happens, or a lot of things are happening right now. It will be in best interest to say, Hamas, we're going from schools and then we're going to hospitals, not civilians, right? Civilians that probably don't deserve to get murdered, just because, they live in Gaza.
This video showing Gaza residents moving south to safety on the only open corridor carrying white flags. The military saying,
and it just, on a different level, this is Fox News, but, the way, this guy's talking about tunnels are used by Hamas, a terrorist organization, I suppose, they guess they treat Gaza like a whole terrorist state, says the most biggest terrorist state ever built. And then, they show civilians leaving their homes, commuting, transporting their belongings, transporting themselves. It just seems like, you would bombard any kind of street, and you would say, well, that street connected a hospital, a school, and, some other areas to get water or something like that. Hamas were walking around there. It just seems, I don't say casualties of war. That's just a poor excuse,
It is providing protection for the civilian Palestinians against Hamas, which has been preventing many civilians from leaving. In the meantime, the U.S. is still pushing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to allow for brief humanitarian pauses in order to get aid into Gaza and the release of more than 240 hostages by Hamas.
That's what we're trying to get cemented, is an agreement for as many pauses as might be necessary to get all of them out. But it's a delicate negotiating process.
That's pretty much what you want to pause and stop the war. It wouldn't be like, U.S. Massacring 70 or 80% of civilians with their drones or other airstrikes, and just saying no. That's the best we could do. But this guy, works for the White House. He's, he represents the United States of America in time of war, especially, in Arabic countries. They're known to slaughter people, but you want to pause it just to get some civilians out. You don't want to end the war, do you?
And looking beyond the war, the White House is pushing back on suggestions by Netanyahu that Israel could control Gaza indefinitely after the fall of Hamas.
It is imperative that the Palestinian people be central to governance in Gaza and in the West Bank as well. And that, again, we don't see a reoccupation.
And also
well, then you're really not about to destroy Hamas. You want to take over the Gaza. There's other YouTubers pointing out, and maybe I should read about it, that they're planning to build a canal. It's a good investment to own that land. And in fact, for years, decades, Israel's been known to take pieces of land from Gaza, from that country or that state. I guess that's the end game. And when it happens, you slaughter a bunch of people, and there'll be repercussions. People get angry. You say, well, Hamas, they were walking on roads, dirt roads, asphalt, and tunnels to get from hospitals to elementary schools.